Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Barter Black Podcast. I am Shatiea Blount, your podcast host for this evening, and I am here with Amber Epperson from The Scented Vine, here to share with us how she helps people, business, and communities connect through scent.
Mhm.
If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We will be responding as we have a really good conversation tonight to learn more about scent marketing.
Mm.
Something that is a fairly new concept to me consciously, but I'm sure unconsciously I have been engaged in scent marketing. And so I see you
Don't get me
doing all,
excited because
yes.
you see I'm here like,
So
mm-hmm.
for the people, please give us a synopsis of who you are,
Mm,
right? The
mm.
podcast version, right? The
The podcast version,
the
the appropriate
podcast
one that can be
version,
shared, right?
and what scent marketing is.
I would love to. Thank you, Shatia. So, um, I am a real strong country girl, a believer who was like, you know what? Let's leave on like the whole 9 to 5 thing, crash landed into entrepreneurship, started a candle company a few years in, actually went into alignment, and we rebranded to where we always should have been, which is a scent shop. So what's so funny is I'm sure when you said that intro, like she does what through scent, right?
Yes.
It's like people are always like, okay, I can define scent because I'm intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
I can define marketing because I'm intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, inference says we're doing something. Basically, at the very core, I help people to just live as immersive, as full, at whatever growth, whatever inspiration, whatever wellness they need, whatever it looks like, I help them do it through scent. I tell people I am a scent storyteller, right? So, for example, like you said, consciously, I've never been aware of it because I've never thought about it because scent is a background note, but it
Mm-hmm.
is one of the most important things that you will have on your everyday.
Mm-hmm.
My argument is that it is your superpower. It is the strongest sense that you have. I will die on that hill comfortably.
Mm.
Okay.
Well, we want you to
So
live on the hill, like live,
I'm here, I'm thrive on it. I'm gonna thrive on this hill, and
thrive
I
on
want
that
others
hill.
to come with me. Come with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
my job is to take scent from the background and bring it to the forefront. I want you to realize how it affects 75% of the decisions you make every single day. So
Mm-hmm.
when we say we work with companies, creatives, communities, it means that anyone who wants to show up, anyone who wants to tell a story, anyone who wants to grow in their business, in their organization, wherever, there is a way that you can do it with scent. People are always familiar, like, oh, I got a logo, I got a brand story. Okay, great. What's your scent? And they don't understand why that's important. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you're not a business, if you're someone who right now everyone's decorating their home, not everyone, a lot of people are decorating their home for the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who are like, I also want to have a scent in my home. There are people who do that year round. It's scent styling. There are people who, as their mood changes, their personal scent changes. There are people
Mm-hmm.
who, as they change the curtains and the throw pillows and the table linens, they're also changing the actual scent
Mm-hmm.
because it tells a story. When people walk into your home, when people meet you for the first time, if you have a signature perfume, that tells your story. So
Mm-hmm.
I help people create that scent. It looks like we'll do the scent formula. You can add it into your business, whether you're a brick and mortar or not, whether you're a service provider or not. I want people to know that scent is something super powerful that you can use to be memorable and to evoke whatever emotion it is that you're trying to do with whoever you're speaking to.
What the? I had a client earlier
I see like seven thoughts at
told
one
me how to
time.
do this or something like that.
Mhm.
So with that, I could feel your passion as you gave a very spirited um explanation of what scent is. And so I'm curious to know where that passion comes from and like when did you fall in love with scent, full stop.
I feel I feel like when they asked, "Oh girl, when did you fall in love with hip hop on Brown
Yeah.
Sugar?" Um,
Yes.
so what's so funny is I think it was something that happened gradually. There wasn't one moment that I thought, oh, I love scent. Because what's the funny story? Before I even started this business, I didn't care about candles. I was not a candle purchaser. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. When I clean the house, I'll light a candle. That was the full extent of
Mm-hmm.
me and scent, right? I was never even like a big perfume wearer. This is Here's the thing. So this is a faith-based business. God one day was like, yo, quit your job and start a candle company. Record scratch, what you say?
Mm-hmm.
What was that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was never, oh, I always knew I was meant to do this.
Mm-hmm.
No. What
Mm-hmm.
I did know and what I fully recognize is that I'm a connector. I am like, when we talk about my gift mix, like, oh, what are you gifted at? Do you play piano? No, I'm an encourager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my gift. My entire gift and my job, my purpose, if you will, is
Mm-hmm.
I want to connect people with other people, people with the good emotions. I just want to be the ones that connect things and people because we are so disconnected. We're so disjointed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think God's little funny moment was scent is how you're going to do that because it is all about connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how our brains are wired, scent is what you use to connect to emotions and experiences and memories way more vividly than any of your other senses.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my background was hospitality administration. That's my degree. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I worked. I did events for 15 years, and I always love seeing things from, oh, I have an idea. And then look at this. It's conceptualized. Look at the whole completion of it. I love looking at that. I was able to connect this idea to what this looks like and how people can enjoy it. Now it's just translated to, hmm, I'm really feeling real sensual and sexy. I want to tell that in a story. How do I do that through scent? It's the exact same way. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
connecting these scents with your memories, your experiences, your brand story. So we're talking about scent marketing, just like if someone has a logo, if you have a brand voice, if you have a color scheme,
Mm-hmm.
that is your brand's personality. That is who you are. They're going to remember you also more strongly by what you smell like. When I said I'm a scent storyteller, I take your brand and I translate it, and we help you create a strategy to integrate it into a way where it's like, I want to tell them this about me. I want them to remember this about this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Great, let's do the scent. That's what I do.
So, so how does this work for, in this technology age when businesses are completely virtual? They are not, like, nobody is smelling through the computer, right? With that, there's no.
Them as soon as the Lord says, "Girl, here goes the secret to smell-o-vision," y'all not gonna hear from me no more. But until that happens, I think here's the funny part. Even though we are a digital first type world, there
Mm-hmm.
is still that piece of human connection that we all need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of what's missing, right?
Sure.
So we're so used to our thumbs are scrolling. And
Mm-hmm.
that's changed a lot of how our brains are wired in terms of how we relate with businesses and influencers. A lot of that has changed. But what is the heart of what people still want? They still want to feel connected.
That's
They
true.
still want to feel connected to what they see or who they know. That's why when people say, man, why is the holiday season? It's a money making season. It is, but let me tell you why. People still feel connected to the nostalgia of the memories of the season
Absolutely.
because it's so easy to realize this is joy. This is connectedness. This is family. This is rest. Whatever it is the holiday season is for you, it's something that you are connected to on like a molecular level
Mm,
because your memories and your experiences, however they were formed and nurtured and fostered for this season in particular, it's a connection.
mm-hmm.
So even though right now we realize what's your marketing strategy, what's your social media game plan, what are you doing, if you have a service-based business, what's the tech piece look like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the human connection piece, what do they honestly need to know about you, what is it that when they talk about you and your brand to someone else, they're not going to talk about, man, their website loaded so fast. Like, mention like, oh, I love their Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Is the
Mm-hmm.
content funny?
Mm-hmm.
Does it make you feel like, oh man, it makes me think? Like, is it rage bait?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that they connect to? So even if the first thing they might recognize through their screens is going
Mm-hmm.
to be something that's digital, it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's technical, there's still going to be a human connection piece, and that's where you're going to find that long lasting relationship. That's where you move from transaction, engagement, click, shares, likes, to
Mm-hmm.
relationship building, because you have built something that is integrated way deeper, and it's through what they smell, through what they remember, because it's a whole neuroscience behind it. I'm not making it up because it sounds cute. Like,
Of
that's the
course.
connection.
Yeah, I know, as a therapist, you and I spoke about this, right? Like
Mhm.
the olfactory system, how a lot of times it, as you said, bypasses a lot of the other, sensory
Mm.
inputs and evoke very strong memories similar to like sound and like those types of things. So I understand exactly what you mean. And also, we may not look at this, our first look may not be, oh, scent marketing, but we have people around us that have a certain smell that reminds us of something. We have, sometimes we might need to get rid of a t-shirt or two if we don't like the smell that of this said person's t-shirt or something of the sort. So it is this a novel idea? How long has this industry been around in this way?
You know what? So I'm going to answer that question. But for those who are watching or will watch and who don't know what we're talking about in terms of the olfactory senses and why it is, because in order to understand the how, you really do need to understand the why. So for those who are here, thank you for being here. If you are confused, this is your first time ever thinking, why in the world are we talking about scent? Like, what is this? When you think of your five senses, right? What you see, hear, taste, touch, smell, all of that, the first four, excluding scent, they have to go into your brain, and the thalamus then decides, all right, based on how much information the brain currently has, based on how busy we are, based on what I know about you, here is where I'm going to send you. Okay. But your sense of smell is so powerful, it's so elite, it bypasses the bouncer at that club door. It goes right to the olfactory bulb. That olfactory bulb is connected to your limbic system. That's where you're going to process your emotions. It's where you are storing all of your experiences, all of those memories. So that's why you can recall something way more vividly, right? So it's like, for example, if you were to see a picture of your grandmother and you're like, oh my God, I miss my grandma, right? You know it because you're remembering it. But if you were walking and you smell white diamonds, and all of a sudden, before you realized it, you crying,
Mm-hmm.
that's because without you consciously being aware, your brain has processed something that is so strongly attached to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so your brain and your body has responded before you're consciously aware. So when
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about, is it a novel idea? It could be seen as novel, but honestly, it just makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? It
Mm-hmm.
just makes sense. It's not something that you do for, it's not kitschy, right? It's not like, oh, do it so we can kind of catch them. Because scent marketing, even if you look at it from a business standpoint, like how long have businesses been using it? That's hard to say. We could trace back to when they started making the change, but it's almost like you can go back a couple thousands of years. Let me tell you, one of the best to ever do it, Cleopatra.
Okay.
She really put perfume in her sails of her boats so
Mm-hmm.
that when she was coming towards Mark Antony, they would smell her coming. That is scent marketing. When
Mm-hmm.
you would fold up a note in the cute little origami styles we used to do to you from your boo, and you would spritz it with that cucumber melon Bath and Body Works or
Ah,
whatever you
not
had at
cucumber
that
melon.
time. Listen, you might even have the love spell if you was a little
Love
fancy.
spell. Okay. The
Okay,
purple bottle. Mm-hmm.
the purple bottle. Okay, that's scent marketing. You didn't realize it. You
Mm-hmm.
just knew they gonna smell this. You
Mm-hmm.
gonna remember me. So
Mm-hmm.
we've been using it for a lot, for a lot.
But
You just
businesses though, so because those were like individual examples in terms of what scent we wear, but us
Mhm.
businesses. As I'm listening to you, I'm thinking like scents that I know, like new car smell, or
Mhm.
like those types of scents. Would that fit into the category of scent marketing?
It sure would, because that was intentional. When they
Mm.
created the new car smell and they started calling it the new car smell, is because you wanted to get out of that old one and trade into the one with the new car smell. When you think about even movie theaters, popcorn, you never went to the movie theater thinking I'm going to go pay $19 for this box of popcorn, but you
Hmm.
got there and that scent was piped through the actual theater. So now you're
Hmm.
like, ooh, That's why they gave you those extended previews. And
Mm,
that's why they had the little Coca-Cola and the popcorn dancing, holding hands in the front. You know what? Hold on, I'm gonna go get some popcorn for this. I'll be right back. That
mm,
is scent marketing, right? So we
yeah.
know that when you like a luxury boutique hotel, oh, they have a smell. That's
Mm-hmm,
not it.
mm-hmm,
Things like Burger King,
mm-hmm,
just because you can smell the flame grilled Whoppers down the street, they're not cooking it outside. It
mm-hmm,
is not so powerful that you no, that is intentional. It is piped through their HVAC system so that you smell it and your brain says, "Oh, they flaming them up right now. It's fresh. I want it." Right? When
mm-hmm,
like Nordstrom. Nordstrom has a different scent in every single section. So, like when you go into their women's lingerie section, I think it's like lilacs because they
mm-hmm,
want you to feel soft and feminine and beautiful. When you go into the baby section, it's powder because
mm-hmm,
they want you to feel soft. Oh my God, it's baby stuff. I want to buy it all right now.
mm-hmm,
Right? So, if you're
mm-hmm,
thinking, I can see these large visuals of the babies, I
mm-hmm.
can feel and touch the clothes, but what you don't know, your brain can smell what you have already associated with cuteness
Mm-hmm.
already have a, so yeah, it's been used for a very long time, but they're not going to talk about it because they want to talk to your brain. They don't want to
Yeah, they
talk
don't
to
want to talk. Yeah, so that's what, I'm like, have I been bamboozled?
you. Sure
Like,
have. You
you
all have.
know,
It's been happening for years for all of us.
yeah, what you're talking about, which really makes sense, is the intentionality behind it, right? And then the marketing component, you're able to track
Yes.
how this marketing campaign or intervention, or if you will, is working or not working with people over time. I think it's quite fascinating. I've been, and I'm thinking too, sometimes maybe the scents can be so faint. Like, as a person who's sensitive to smell and can
Mm-hmm.
feel overpowered very quickly, um there's probably like logic in that. Like, I don't know what the science is, but like, turn down the smell here, turn up the
Yes.
smell there. Yes.
Yes. You know what? I bet right now you can think of there are certain stores that you do not go into because you're like, I hate how strong it is in there. Right? Those companies have made the intentional decision to kick it up. So they know they're going to lose people. Like a Yankee candle. Why would a Yankee candle smell so strong if they're trying to get you in there to smell different stuff? It's intentional because
Mm,
these are the people who love being surrounded by scents. They know they're going to turn some people away, but they have made that conscious decision. It's worth it.
yeah, and it's really understanding your target audience, right? Like, so they're
It
they're not they're not marketing to me. So the fact that I turn away is I'm not their preferred customer. I mean, they'll take my money, but that's
That,
not,
that's it. But the perfect word. It was intentional. Now, here's the thing. I know that we're using these examples of like these are brick and mortar stores. These are places who you have a place you can walk into. I do not want to forget the portion of the congregation who doesn't have a store. You do not have
Sure.
a physical location. That's most of the population of business owners.
Hmm.
There are still so many other ways that you can use scent. It doesn't matter if you're using it in like any mailers. If you operate an apparel company out of your garage, you can use scent in your packaging.
Hmm.
You can it's whatever it is that is going to tell the story that you are intentionally trying to tell. I have
Hmm.
had people say, oh, we're luxury, so we're going to make sure that we always smell like Tom Ford. Oh,
Hmm.
good job pushing Tom Ford's agenda. You are
Hmm.
helping
Hmm.
because that is not your story.
Hmm.
Now, does it mean, oh, they always smell so good? Yeah, but that's not remembering
You.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking, man, I sure love this Tom Ford. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
so does it mean, oh, I give an elevated experience? Yes. But you're working against yourself when you're trying to make sure you are remembered.
So this is
That's
where
the
the custom piece comes in, right? Like, you could prop up someone else's scent story, but
you
that
sure can.
means that you are not telling your own. And I'm sure, the process of creating it is probably, really fun. And we're going to talk a little bit about that
I
later.
would
So, in one of our earlier conversations, you had mentioned that, Black folks specifically don't necessarily use scent marketing enough.
hmm
Um,
hmm
and, or they may be waiting for this big, budget to do so. Can you tell me a little bit more about the mindset shift that is needed, or a piece of advice you would offer to small business owners, Black specifically, because this is Barter Black,
Right.
to leverage the power of scent in their businesses?
Sure can. Without even going way too deep in the systemic situations of why aren't they using it, what is very clear is that for the most part, overwhelmingly, they do not know about it, or what they know is so hazy and it feels out of reach. It doesn't feel applicable to me. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's several reasons why that is. Number one, either you're not, because it's something again that is not discussed, because it is a covert action. I can always call it covert wizardry. We don't
Covert
tell you,
wizardry. I was going to say that. You mentioned that
call it
before.
covert wizardry. We're
Mm-hmm.
not in your face. We being anyone who deal in the sense space. We're
Mm-hmm.
not in the front lines, right? Because we want people to talk directly to your subconscious. So even if I'm not saying, oh, we're not smart enough to, no, it's just that the people who are here, we're not talking about it because that goes against the whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because even with the strides that collectives like Barter Black have made in making sure you don't have to know all the things, you don't have to do all the things, but just be aware that
Mm-hmm.
this is available for you, there has been a great disservice done in terms of here's everything that is available for you. That is what I'm trying to change. That's the first part of just so, well, yes, a luxury thing. You have to have a Super Bowl budget to do it. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's because you've only seen it done consciously with luxury spaces and retail spaces and those who have big names behind them, Starbucks, Target, right? You're thinking, I'm not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Education piece, which is where I really am right now, like you can do it. I promise you can do it. You can do it where you are because the great thing is since scent is so personal, it grows with you. You can start small. For example, I just want to do something in my packaging because right now I'm operating out of my garage. It's just me and I make my son work every so often and packaging up supporters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then just start with your packaging intentionally, but what do you want them to know? So the first thing is education, is making sure that our Black founders are aware that there are more things you can do to tell your story, to make them feel you, to make them know you outside of let me always be on social media. Let
Mm-hmm.
me always be at every networking event. That's not all there is to it. And this is going to be like the gift of grace for those people who are like, oh, I hate showing up in front of the camera. I hate trying to always show up at in-person events. Think outside the box. That is the thing. I am trying to break the box. I need people to realize the only thing you need to do is tell people what it is you do and make them want to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop people. That's the first thing. Now, when they're thinking, well, eventually I'm going to get there, I'm going to do it. Something in their mind says, this is so elite and so luxury, it is outside of my price range. How do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Because have you had a conversation on, first of all, how could you use it for your business, how you're structured? If you're a solopreneur, if you're operating from your house, if you're operating a service-based business, if you're e-commerce only, how could you use it? What do you need right now where you are? Let's find that out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's first find that out. Then let's see, okay, great. Where are you trying to get to? Because we are not trying to build a scent strategy for where you are. We are building a scent strategy for where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first two things I would say, especially to Black founders, know that there is more than what you've been told. There is more than what you've been told. Okay. So being around people who think bigger, who don't care about the box on the mindset, who don't care about here's what's always been done. Let's just do what's always been done. Surround yourself with that wise counsel.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. The second thing is let's be intentional about not just thinking I need to survive where I'm at. No, you need to plan for where you're going. In
Mm-hmm.
order to do that, you are going to figure out, well, how can I use it right now? And then what is my next step for growth? Change
Mm-hmm.
your mindset. That's the biggest thing. Change your mindset. And I'm not even saying it to make it sound like, oh, it's going to break your pockets. No, we're saying you can start small. You
Mm-hmm.
can start small. And as you begin to see the traction, you let it grow with you.
Sure. Is we before we went live, we were talking about like grow where you're planted, right? So it reminds me of that. Like start with what you have, and what you speak to is the power of a consultation, right? Because sometimes as small business owners, you feel like you have to know at the point where you solicit support. So sometimes it's like, well, I don't know. I heard about this thing and I want to see. I just want a consultation to see how it could
Mm-hmm.
work in my business. And then you
Mm.
allow the experts to be the experts, and you don't
Yeah.
have to do all the things, or you don't have to know. You just say, I heard about this scent marketing on this Barter Black podcast, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to get in touch with Amber Epperson at, what's the website? The Scented Vine.
Vine.com. Anytime you Google just the scented vine, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna find us, baby. So add
Mm-hmm.
a .com behind it, and that'll be us. You know what the great thing about that is, though? I think one of the changes I'm trying to make is um open and honest pricing right up front. So those people who are like,
Yeah.
I don't want my pricing on my website because I don't want my competitors to take it, or I don't want people to be sticker shocked. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Here are three of the three main packages we do. But the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I want you to do is come and talk to me anyway. I
Yeah.
want you to talk to me because I need you to not come and talk to me and get so excited and then think, oh no, but my cash flow. You
Mm-hmm.
worried about the wrong thing right now, baby. You worried
Mm-hmm.
about the wrong thing right now. The only thing I want your mindset to shift to is I got something dope and I need people to know it and I need them to
Sure.
remember me. I need them when they see me, smell me, touch me, feel me, taste anything associated with my service or my product or my offering that they're like, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, right? Change your mindset to where you're going. Everything else is going to follow. The people, the connections, the community, the integration of the right branding, all of it is coming as soon as you think past, let me just function in my dysfunction. Let me
Yeah.
survive where I'm at.
Sure, sure. You mentioned I do the same thing on my website for my mental health company. I'm just like, you know, I don't want you to feel stressed. The pricing is one less thing that you need to think about. It's right
You don't
here
have to think about
front. It's no surprises. You know what I
it.
mean? And so I also think it's a way as a business owner of, just kind of being sure about what it is that you offer. And the same thing, like Yankee Candle has these strong smells that would deter me, but is very attractive to someone else. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
understand that. So speaking of candles, and I know you said you started out with a candle brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know during one of our previous conversations, we discussed this concept of aromatherapy, because I'm like, is scent marketing aromatherapy? You like, it could be, you know.
It could be. Like, it might
So,
be.
can you tell me more, explain the difference between simply um, like using scent for personal wellness? I think you've done this, but can you like distinguish between or discuss the similarities and differences between aromatherapy and the broader like scent marketing?
Yep, let's take a step back and let's look at the entire warehouse. Okay, so if you're a visual thinker, picture it. If you're auditory, listen to the sound of my country voice. So if you're looking at the warehouse is scent. Everything inside of it is scent. Okay. If you're a private consumer and you're like, well, I do kind of use some aromatherapy when I want to relax. Great. You're going to enter through that door of, I want to relax. It's intentional. I know what I want scent to help me do. Or if you're a private consumer and you're thinking, you know what? Um, Functionality, practical uses. I only use, scent when I'm congested. I do at home vapor treatments, or I do scent in my shower as that type of steam vapor. Cool. Scent can do that. That's the well-being part. That's the healing, the wellness portion of scent. We help you with that. If you're a business owner and you're like, I want to be able to tell my story in a way that people are going to want to remember me, in a way that when they interact with this scent, they're going to not only remember my name, they're going to remember how I made them feel. They're going to remember the service. They're going to remember the product way more vividly than if they just heard a jangle on the radio or if they
Mhm.
saw an ad on Instagram, right? You're going to go through this door of, I want scent to help my business grow. I want scent to help me do. So scent is here. It
Mhm.
is there. You just have to know how you want to use it. Is it to help you grow? Is it
Mhm.
to help you relax? Is it
Mhm.
to help you have the best friends miss party ever because now you have created this curated scent for your home, and when they walk in they're like, oh my god, girl, you always have the best. That's what it is. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what it is, as long as you know what it is, what connection it is you're trying to make. Scent can help you do that in
Mhm.
part or in total. It just depends. And my job as the foreman of this warehouse is when we have this consultation to say, what is it you're looking for? What is it
Mhm.
that you're trying to do? You don't have to know what you want scent to do. You have to know what you want to do.
Mhm.
My job and where I stand is as the scent storyteller to say, have you considered this? this is one way we could do that. Oh,
Mhm.
you're looking for a unique gift. Have you considered gifting them a custom scent,
Mhm.
letting them create something just so it's this kind of thing, right? It's just
Sure.
a matter of understanding it can do so much more than what we have allowed it to do consciously. And
Mm.
I want to let the world know,
Mhm.
like, sin is not to be played with. It can
Abs-
honestly change how you interact with your day, how you interact with people around you. That's what we're here for.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to sign up for my consultation, or we do one just to see what that process will be like. I do have a question, an additional
Yes.
question. So we talk about scent changing things, and there has been a lot of conversation around how some of the commercial scent experiences are like endocrine system disruptors, or may not necessarily be the healthiest for you,
Mm-hmm.
um, while they do appeal to your your senses and you like the smell. So can you
It's not
talk a little bit about the health in terms of the health aspect in terms of how you
for
attend to
me.
that in your business?
Sure can. I'm actually going to touch on two things. Number one, the health aspect, but then also just the scent sensitivities, because I know you said your favorite scent is unscented. So let's do that. When I actually first started the candle company, it was to create this eco-friendly, earth-friendly, body-safe situation,
Mhm,
right? So that was the focus. How can we get top quality ingredients, phthalate-free fragrance oils, which are just those that do not have those compounds that are going to aggravate your respiratory system? What can we do to make sure whatever it is that you bring into your home or put on your body is not going to harm you unjustly,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
In reason, right?
mhm,
So because I have a household of respiratory issues. And I
mhm,
also have a lot of people around me who are like, oh, I love this, but I don't do candles because they give me migraines. Well, I
mhm,
think the first questions that you need to ask is what type of candle is it? Who is it from?
mhm,
Um, and so what I'm about to say, because I know how the internet like to tussle, this is not a sound bite, is that you need to be careful of the company that you purchase from, because do they value their bottom line? Do they value the quality of the product that they're pushing out,
mhm,
right? Because
mhm,
it is very easy to give you a pretty product. It's
mhm,
very easy to give you a product that has a really strong fragrance throw. I want to smell it all day long, but it's
mhm,
made with very economically priced ingredients
mhm,
that I easily source from anywhere, that
mhm,
are made from things that are questionable,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And it's those questionable things that are easy to aggravate you. They're
mhm,
easy to, oh, I got a headache. Yes, because this paraffin wax was made from that sludge at the bottom of like the oil tankers. And
mhm,
so it's super cheap, but it holds color well and it
mhm,
holds scent well. And the
mhm,
scent that they're using was made with very lax standards,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
It's like, does that bother everyone? No. Is
mhm,
it illegal? No.
mhm,
But is it the best decision when you know you're trying to, I'm trying to be confident that what you have is not going to harm you,
mhm. Or
right?
other people, right?
Or
In the
other
marketing
people,
space. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So that's the first thing, is just always be sure of who are you purchasing from. You can look at the history of what have other people said about their company, their products,
Mhm,
right? When we're talking about scent sensitivities, that's just a matter of being able to get with a company that can alter what they do to the frequency that they do it. You mentioned something earlier that was interesting. They were like, hey, can we make it stronger? Yes, there are places, there are hotels, in fact,
mhm,
where they will adjust the output of their scent based on the time of day,
mhm,
based on what other events are happening in the space, based on where they're like trying to go with their campaign pushes.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
because they know that there are certain scent sensitivities. We
mhm,
talk about placement of scent in actual locations. When
mhm,
we do what we call scent zoning and scent mapping for businesses, give me a schematic of your floor plan. Talk to me about your merchandising plan. Talk to me about the airflow. Like, we get very technical because we want to know where's the best place to put this scent for your goal. Is your goal to make them stay in the store longer? Then we're going to consider that. Is your goal to make sure they have a great experience when they first walk in? Is your goal to make sure you pull them in the door like Starbucks? They want to pull you in the door with their coffee
mhm,
scent.
mhm,
So all of that is to be considered from like a marketing standpoint. I need to know what your goal is. I need to go know who you're targeting. Do you care about how strong it is? They're like, nope. Cool, balls to the wall. We'll just pump it in. But there are companies who can alter it. We are one of them.
Okay. Okay.
That's,
Nice. And I think that's the value of working with small business, right? Because you have
mm,
access to the creator most times, you know what I mean? And so you can really get something that is extremely customized for your needs and your sensitivities. Yes. All right. So before we go to the last piece, I know a little birdie told me that you're doing a pilot program or case study with Barter Black specifically, which is a tech company, right? So
mm-hmm.
can you talk to me a little bit about scent marketing for tech companies and how did this even come about?
I sure can. So here's how it came about. I was talking to a trusted advisor, and it was, I want to be real audacious because the situation we're talking about educating the masses. I can easily educate you on how scent can be used in your storefront. I can easily educate you on how you can use scent for your retail. But what is the most outlandish thing that we could do to show them that scent can be used anywhere? We're like, okay, cool. Well, what are the most, in their minds, unaligned ways that could work? Tech, finance, legal, because none of that feels like that would make sense. So we started with tech. We're like, no, this is digital. And I promise you, what's so interesting, when we met with Nicole Murphy, the wonderful founder of Barter Black, she was like, I'm on board. I don't get it though. I don't know. Right? Just being very, she was like, listen, and let me tell you why we approached Nicole. And here's what I want anyone to know who's listening. And they're like, this sounds novel. This sounds interesting. I'm interested, but I don't know how it will work for me. The very first thing I'm always going to ask, tell me about your brand. Do you know who you serve? Because I can't help you if you don't know what story you're telling. If you just want me to create you something pretty, if you want me to create you something that smells good, that's not scent marketing. That's just you create a custom scent for your home and you just happen to use it for your business. That's not going to work. But I approached Nicole because she is very clear on who she serves and what she wants Barter Black to do to change the world. Okay, especially Black founders. Um, so what we were saying is, and we mentioned this earlier, we understand that technology is digital first. It's like, but we had to break this box of, you are not a technology company. You are a revolutionary company that is changing the way Black founders think about their business. Instead of, let me go learn all the things, let me do all the things, let me see how I can be more efficient with all the things on my to-do list. You were like, no. Her entire platform with Barter Black, though the way she does it is through technology, it is not only technology. What is revolutionizing the way that Black entrepreneurs grow and scale their business by holding on to their cash flow while also creating this connected community of realizing, come together collaboratively. When you share in what you have and what you do and what you know in exchange for what you need, you can make it to the next level. That has nothing to do with technology. Because if all of us were standing in one room and we all were like, I'm holding a sign, here's what I could do, what can you do? Right? You're like, oh, okay, that's right. It's just the way that he does it is through tech. So, what the first step is when anyone we talk about it, right? Let's talk about your brand. I mean, we had a whole like sit down session of, no, tell me everything. Tell me about what they don't know. Tell me about the like it's several things that seem very innocuous, but at the end of it, I'm trying to really understand, how are you serving them in a way that other people are not? Because we're going to take that and we're going to create a scent from there. That's how we create the scent. The question is, well, how do you integrate it? How does she already work? Right now, for those of you who do not know, she is launching the Barter Black app in February
Ooh,
2020.
okay, shout out. Yes.
Listen, nice and smooth. She's launching the app. In order for her to do this, she's not just doing this on a computer screen. She's in person. She's on the street, boots to the ground. Okay, real grassroots guerrilla marketing type situation. Every place she shows up. Every time she sends out a sponsorship packet, every time she talks to someone new, that is an operation. That is an opportunity to integrate scent. Once we get rid of this box of, I'm only going to be seen through a screen, And once you realize you have a story to tell, that when people are sitting at home in their personal time thinking of, I don't know how to grow my business, and
Mhm.
they think of Barter Black, they're not only thinking about the platform, they're thinking about how they can use it.
Mhm.
That is the way that we're gonna be right here organically. Do
Mhm.
they have a candle sitting on their desk that way? Did
Mhm.
they walk into a networking space and they smelled something that also reminded them of a candle that they purchased from the website? Whatever it looks like, because how it looks changes based on how you operate. It is
Sure.
never, let me build you a plan that you need to follow. It's tell me your plan and
Mhm.
let me point out where we can integrate from where you're going. So for example, with Nicole and with this tech space, she's already going on tour. Girl,
Mhm.
let's get this in the tour.
Mhm.
She's already pushing out for sponsors. Let's integrate Scent into the sponsorship push. So
Mhm.
it's not on her platform. Because again, I stand by it. Lord, should you want to tell me how to make smell-o-vision, I promise you I'm gonna act right. How to build and integrate smell-o-vision and become richer than Jeff Bezos. Right
Mhm.
now, we are working with that human connection piece.
Sure.
How are you talking to them? How, even on a digital space, are you using sensory rich language to reinforce what they're already going to think? Every
Mm.
time you send out an email or a newsletter, are you using those cues or those phrases that tell their brain, oh, I know what that smells like?
Mm.
Simple thing.
You
It's just,
know, I done got excited, right?
okay,
Because when you say sensory rich language, a lot of times in the spaces in which I work, we talk about how the brain sometimes cannot tell the difference between what's real or imagined, right? And
oh,
so you get the same. This is why you can fantasize about something and feel all the feelings, or you could have anxiety
mm,
and project, something uncomfortable, like this gonna happen, and you're having a real time reaction to something
physically.
that has not happened. So this idea around, even if there is not an opportunity in the moment to have this in-person connection, then there are still ways to engage scent marketing through
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
using scent language that then will also, this person may not necessarily smell it, but maybe could, based off of
There's
the
already like a
the,
memory
the
associated.
associated with it. Yeah, I think that is okay, Amber. That is
You know
pretty
what's
good.
funny? Here's an example, right? So if Nicole goes live and if she's talking about, and I'm pulling this for real out of thin air, right? If she goes live tomorrow, she's talking about, hey, Barter Black platform founders, when we're home for the holidays and you're looking for ways to be cozy. If she is eating soft baked chocolate chip cookies while she's doing it, if while she's speaking about the comfort and the warmth and the cozy and something sweet, right? She's not talking about the cookies, but your brain notices like, oh, I bet you it smells warm. Oh, I bet it smells
Mm-hmm.
like chocolate, right? That also is scent marketing.
Mm-hmm.
To
Okay.
smell it. Your brain just had to say, I know what that smells like. I know what it makes me feel. I know what I remember. Because here's the difference. If you bite into a cookie and it's hard, I bet you, I know it was burnt. I can imagine it right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus if it was something you didn't hear a crunch, it was real soft, and you saw the chocolate like a whole pull apart situation, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I can picture it because you had something similar to that
Mm-hmm.
before.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
had that cookie or not doesn't matter. Sensory rich in terms of like digital just means that it's something that your brain can replicate. And
Sure.
therefore, your brain can replicate the emotion. It can replicate whatever it is I need you to experience without you realizing that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Disney is a this. Like
Yeah.
people do this all the time. It's just a matter. Again, it's how are you wielding this power? Because that's another thing. People are like, that's kind of scary. It could be
Mm-hmm.
if you have nefarious and malicious goals, right? It's like how
Mm-hmm.
Disney targets children. Whole nother story for a whole another day.
Mm-hmm.
But the situation is, even if, and this goes back to what I'm not in person, I don't have events, I'm not even sending out products. What can I do? You can figure it out through e-commerce. Have a conversation. Acknowledge to first yourself, okay, there's a story I want to tell. Here's how I want them to feel. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
experience that I know that I'm providing. Here's who I'm serving and how I'm talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I need to add in terms of a scent, even if it's just setting the groundwork for something very simple. There is a way.
So let's do it, Amber. Let's
Let's
take
do it.
our last, 10 minutes or so and show the audience what this could look like for a business. We'll use mine as a
Unplanned, y'all. This is not planned.
snippet
We're
example, right? So I'll let you lead, because
good.
this is a show of what the I don't know what the consultation will look like, or I don't even know. So I'll pause now and let you take over. But this
This
is
is
a
going to be
real
very,
live
very
demonstration.
like truncated because
Sure.
a typical discovery call, when I'm telling you I'm getting in there, I'm getting in there. I'm asking all types of questions. So it's actually starting with a questionnaire to help me already have my brain flowing. So the first thing is just tell me about your business. Tell me what it is that you do and who it is that you serve.
Okay. So the name of my business is I Am Me LLC. We are a small mental health social enterprise that's dedicated to elevating Black minds through mental health. We have three primary service pathways. One is where we provide therapy for the strong friend. And so the strong friend is the person who is a leader in their work, in their business, or their communities and their families. Oftentimes, the person who um, is taking care of everybody and
Mhm.
don't feel that they have anyone that could prop them up and support them as they are supporting those around them. And so
Mhm.
the next service offering that we have is for practitioners,
Mhm.
therapy practitioners. There's a behavioral health shortage right now, specifically, I guess across the United States, but we're focused mainly in the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And what we do with that is we help therapists to launch their private practices, specifically Black therapists who want to work in Black communities. And so,
Mhm.
as therapists, a lot of times we learn how to be very good therapists, but we really lack in business acumen and in that regard. And then the last is a corporate well-being program where
Mhm.
we partner with wellness focused employers to offer wellness packages to their employees. And these businesses are also Black businesses or businesses that are situated in Black communities.
So let me tell you what's happening. My brain is visualizing what role you play with all of the people that you serve, right? And so we can clearly understand, like, I am the health practitioner. So
Mhm.
I am the support, I am the resource, but my brain kept visualizing a pillar because I'm hearing who you're talking to, and these are not what traditionally would be considered vulnerable populations,
Sure.
right?
Not
So it's
by
like,
their standing, but by their race, but not by their economic
no, no,
standing, et cetera.
please.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? We're talking about, so who are this is the strong friend, these are other people who help, and these are companies. All of these are supposed to be the pillars,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
You are the pillar for the pillar. So
Hmm.
when we're talking about what does that look like and how you serve them, my next portion of this consultation would be talk about how you're doing it. What are you chipping away? What are you exposing so that you can fortify it the right way? Because I feel like, and this is again, I have never watched you work, but my brain as the translator of this story is I'm trying to figure out, well, tell me what's like the allegory here, what is what's actually happening outside of the about us, outside of the here's what it looks like in a session with me.
Hmm.
What are you doing? What is the transformation that's happening here? So when you have, like, let's say the first 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions, right? That's the I'm getting to know you, then I'm stripping away layers. When you get to the meat of what you do that's different from what other people do, I'm feeling like there is some type of like fortification. There's a process that you have developed that you can integrate, that you work with, that makes them leave either better than they came or with the tools to be better. Is that fair to say?
Sure, absolutely. So myself and my team, because I have a team of therapists. Yes.
Praise God, because we need a
Yes.
community. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, here is where I would like stop. I would be digging in right
Sure.
here because in order to translate this as a scent, we need to figure out two things right now. What is it that you're doing that you need them to remember, even when you're not physically with them or when
Mm-hmm.
you're not actively doing work? But even when your time has passed. You've offboarded,
Mm-hmm.
the corporate event is done, they have stopped being a client. When they smell it, what do they need to know, remember, experience? This
Yeah.
is the part we need to figure that out. And I don't know if you already know the answer. If I were to ask you right now, for a client you had 3 years ago who is no longer your client,
Mm-hmm.
what are they telling other people about you? What do they need to think when they think about when they work with you or your team? What is the new thought that they have in their mind? Do you know what that is?
No, I would
Okay.
say, I mean, most times what they say is you need to talk to Shatiea. You know what I mean? And then they send a email. But I think it's built really in the name. What I do and what my team really does, we are, facilitators of safer relationships with oneself. So it's I in me. So EYE, the I inside of me. A lot of our vision oftentimes is piercing outward to look what this body is doing, what this person says, how this look in the optics, what this person need, who I have to
Mhm.
be for that person, who I have to be for this person, and we learn to ignore our natural God-given internal compass. So our work really we kind of shepherd people back to
Mhm.
their inner knowing. Um,
Okay.
and that's the gist of it, because so I do that, and also my therapists do that in their respective ways, but most of us are very relationally oriented in the work we do, so it's not very much like do this worksheet or answer these 4 questions. It is very much about utilizing the relationship and all facets of it with the client to help facilitate their own awareness back to themselves. Yeah.
You said something that was real good. That if this was a traditional thing, I would stop right here. And it was you being a shepherd. And I don't think a lot of people, and it could be because of the research I've done just in my faith and everything else, with what does a shepherd actually do? You're like, oh, they protect the flock, they watch out for the sheep. I don't think people really truly understand like the levels there, because what's happening for who you serve, there's a certain way that they're functioning. Okay.
Mhm.
They are used to functioning this way. What's
Mhm.
happening is that the way that they're functioning is not the way that they're supposed to be functioning.
Mhm.
Something along the way
Mhm.
took them off, but now they're in this loop.
Mhm.
Your job is to, when they, I got to stop it.
Mhm.
Okay. My job is to stop it. It's not comfortable. That's why shepherds have
Yeah.
staff. That's why they have rods, right? I
Mhm.
have to stop it, and then I have to rechannel, and I have to get you back where you're supposed to be. Okay.
Mhm.
So the very first thing of how we're translating to a scent, if this was a call, I would be writing down, she has to have like a record scratch moment. There's an immediate hard stop that needs to happen with her scent. And it's something that
Mhm.
needs to be a rewiring in their brain
Mhm.
without them realizing it. Because here's what happens with scent. This is the most important part.
Mhm.
I am not creating a scent that is doing the work for you.
Mhm.
The scent that I'm creating is reinforcing what you already do. So the
Mhm.
experience that you are already providing, the
Mhm.
products that you already have available,
Mhm.
everything that's happening here, we are enforcing it, and we are like creating an emotional bookmark. So
Mhm.
what's happening is that in the work that you're doing as the shepherd, you are stopping them from functioning in the dysfunction.
Mhm.
So that is the very first thing. So your scent at the same time needs to immediately stop their brain. It needs
Hmm.
to say, here's how your brain is used to operating, right? So for people, for example, who are like, oh, I really love light scents, I love clean scents, I love those airy things. Okay, okay, that's how your brain functions. There's always a reason why. Why do you love them? When do you love them? Do you
Mhm.
also love that same type of scent at night? Do you love that same type of scent when it's storming? When your emotions change, do you still love it? No, you typically love this when you are at your optimal, when you're
Mhm.
feeling like, oh, here's my ideal feeling, my ideal emotions, whatever, whatever. So what you would do is say, I'm going to give you something heavier. We're going to give you something grounding, because we're going to completely stop and shift it.
Mm.
Because if your brain is used to one thing, I'm going to introduce something first that completely makes your brain wake up.
Nice, like
Because
an
it
interrupter or a disruption. I mean,
is a
I'm sold.
disruptor.
I need the full. I need.
Well, I done got into it now. I'm like, hold on, wait now, because we can't stop at the disruption. But yes, so let's
And
go
that's
ahead
when
and
you
just,
get into like levels and notes and layers
nope,
of scent
we
in.
don't even get into it then.
No, but I'm
Because
saying that, but like when you
We
said
would,
that it doesn't stop at the disruption,
yes,
whatever you build in
yes,
the end will have, um,
yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say.
It
I
will
don't have the
pull.
scent word.
Nope, you are absolutely right. So that is exactly when we get into the notes, right? So, and by notes, for those who are not familiar, is when you have your top, your middle, and your base. She's saying the very first thing that your brain is going to recognize is that first note. It's
Mm-hmm.
the first note. That first note needs to stop their brain. It has to wake their brain up and say, wait, something's happening. It's like the same way, because again, when I say your nose is your superpower, I mean, just look at primitively, you smell smoke, you stop and you're like, wait, am I
Mm-hmm.
safe?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Mm-hmm.
with your clients, your scent needs to tell their brain, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to pay attention to this. That's the
Mm-hmm.
very first thing that I would say. I don't know what that scent is yet.
Sure.
We would really delve more into, let's talk about what they feel, how you want them to feel, because here's also another very key indicator. Again, scent is super personal. I am not creating something that smells good for every single person. That is
Mm-hmm.
not the goal of scent marketing. I am
Mm-hmm.
not trying to create something that's like, oh my God, this smells so good. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
creating something that reinforces the story they already tell. And I think I told you this. I absolutely do not like the scent of roses.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'm sorry, formulated roses. If you
Mm-hmm.
were going to have like a rose body spray, here go me. Okay, right? However, if I were to go to an Alice in Wonderland exhibit and I got to the portion with the Queen of Hearts and she did the whole, they were painting with the rosebuds. If I smelled roses at this exhibit, I wouldn't get the stank face because it fits,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes sense, because
Mm-hmm.
that completely added to what is happening. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
smelling roses, I'm supposed to smell roses.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm here and I start smelling like pot roast,
Mm-hmm.
fried chicken,
Mm-hmm.
funnel cake, my brain's like, something don't fit,
Yeah.
whether I recognize it or not. It's like if
Mm-hmm.
you were to walk into Victoria's Secret and
Mm-hmm.
it smelled like rubber, tennis
Mm-hmm.
balls,
Mm-hmm.
concrete, where
Mm-hmm.
you would go like,
Yeah, your brain doesn't associate
well,
those two, so it warns you like something is awry here.
something is off.
Yeah.
Something is, it makes your brain wake up before you even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, your brain is going to make your body respond
Mm-hmm.
before you consciously are aware that it's happening. So, what we would do for your brand is we're going to give something that same thing. We're going to give them tennis balls, fried chicken in the garden. We have to make their brain say, wait, stop,
Mm-hmm.
something's happening. But
Mm-hmm.
then we have to round it back out with the scent that is going to actually put them back in the loop that they're supposed to be in.
Yeah.
And that loop they're supposed to be in is where you're leading them and you're guiding them through all the sessions, whether it's the strong friend session, whether it's a practitioner who needs to work on that business acumen, or whether it's a corporate thing who's like, we're going to bring you in with our EAS program. We're going to make sure all our employees are holistically well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All of it means I need you to function at your optimal level. And
Sure.
once we have disrupted the brain, we are now going to create a scent profile that puts you back where we are already helping you to go.
You called yourself the connector. I have never made such a connection with, but as I listen to you explain it, it is very, it's very true. Even how you connected the three audiences in terms of
Mhm.
it is a like a stop, let's reorient, and you spoke to it very well. I was on another, like a guest on a podcast recently saying, sometimes there's a lot of fluff that happens in the therapy space, and where you just think you are like massaged all the time, and it's like, no, sometimes it's disruptive. It's work, but you're being held and cared for while you are doing that work. So
Mm.
I do have one more question. How
Yes.
long is the process, right? So this was a very abbreviated version. You have sold me. I will go on and sign up for the full consultation. But how from consultation to, let's say I wanted to just create a signature scent just
Mhm.
to have, how long would that process take?
So if we're talking about everybody's on the Zoom, everybody's responding to emails, like high level, this is a very quick process. High level, we're talking about, here's your scent discovery call. By the time we do this, your next step is that we're actually going to do what I call the scent immersion experience, because I can't, after this, like if I was to send you a message right now, say, hey girl, here's the I in me scent profile. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do vetiver, followed by a nice smoked oud. If I told you that your brain, by reading these words, is trying to ask yourself, do I know what this smell like? Oh, I've smelled that before. It's
Immediately.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is trying to figure out, do
Mm-hmm.
I know what it smell like? Do I like what it smell like? So from
Mm-hmm.
scent discovery call, we're then going to blend it together. The next step, and this could happen as soon as a few days later. I
Okay.
did about a week, right? So now we're going to actually work together to create your actual scent. I'm going to send you this packet that
Mm-hmm.
includes all of these pre-scented fragrance blotter strips that I got in the lab. And I'm like, we're mixing these things based off of our conversation. Here's what I feel like we need to go. But instead of you just reading it in an email, I need you to smell it because you're like, oh, I
Sure.
hate how that smells. No,
Mm-hmm.
smell it here. So that could happen as soon, let's just say a week, right?
Okay.
After that, you're like, I think I like this. I like this combo together. I really want to try this. By the end of that week, in your hand, you're going to have the very first manifestation of your complementary
Oh,
product. And here's what you
okay.
built. So let's just say on a good time, right? 2 weeks, because
Okay.
you need time for us to get back and test and formulate. You need
Sure.
time to receive stuff in the mail. You need time to actually book your session. So everything's going well. Mail carriers are acting right. They're delivering stuff on time. You
Mhm.
actually have the time on your schedule to actually come in and schedule. 2 weeks. This is not a
Oh,
long process. And that's just when you get the very first sample. And then
yeah.
after we go from there, this is not rigid. Again, I am trying to be your partner in your growth. So if
Sure.
you're like, hey, there are other people that need to be considered, you know what, I really want to do it in relation to this, we adjust. It is not something that takes months. It
Mm-hmm.
is something that as long as you're ready, if you are already in the process, if you know what you're about to try and do, if you know who you're talking to, I can do my part. I
Sure.
can do my part and help you translate that.
Sure. I
Yeah.
love this, Amber. We are at time. So I want you to make sure you clearly state how people can get in contact with you, and leave us with some final words, some sensory words, maybe scent
Oh, come
words.
on here. Come on
Yeah.
here.
So go
Listen,
ahead.
it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what your next goal is. You can use scent. If you own a business right now, if you're just trying to give gifts, if it doesn't matter what it is, there is something for you with scent. And I want you to have a conversation with me about how you can use scent to grow creatively in your health, in your wellness, in your business, in your home, wherever it is going to be. All you have to do is type the scented vine. See, see us everywhere, everywhere. You can add the scented vine before a .com. You can add a scented vine after an at in Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. You can just type it on Google. The scented vine. My name is Amber. You can reach out to me at any point in time. Talk to me about what you want to do, how you want to grow, how you want to be the bougiest and the most luxe of all of your friend groups. So you want your own custom perfume. We can do that too.
Hmm.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Amber. This has been enlightening,
That's
and
all I
fun.
want.
Yes, and I appreciate your time. Folks, please reach out to Amber. Leverage this scent marketing or scent creation process, or even, I mean, what we see in the very truncated brief discovery call. She is a connector. So even some things that haven't connected in your mind, some engagement with her now and even throughout the lifespan of your business or you all's work together, I'm sure that she'll be able to make some additional connections. So thank you so much, Amber,
Thank
and we will bid farewell to the viewers and all of you who catch in the replay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Bye bye.